Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Liverpool. And you know, there's those teams that for the life of you can't seem to shake off. It seems like everywhere you turn you play them, and Arsenal very much seem like that team for Liverpool at the moment. We played them just after the restart in a very, very entertaining game at the Emirates. We then faced them again in the Community Shield, which was a very tough game for both teams, which we went on to lose. And then we faced them again today in the Premier League, and only a couple of days after this game we're going to be facing them again in the Carabao Cup. So Liverpool and Arsenal are getting very, very familiar with each other over the past couple of games, and you know, we've seen in the past couple of seasons that Liverpool-Arsenal games have been very, very entertaining, both in terms of some defending that's questionable, but lots of goals, lots of really good goals, lots of really great bits of play, and that's exactly what we saw again today. Liverpool made it 3 wins out of 3 to start the Premier League season, and it's exactly what the doctor ordered. It was a performance definitely worthy of champions. Another performance again that showed that we are not being complacent on the success we had last season, showing that we can still, you know, put a very good Arsenal team who are in form to the sword. They were good. Arsenal have been good so far in their games against Fulham and West Ham, but they were no match for us. They were no match for our pressing. They were no match for our quality up front. They were no match for our defending. And man for man, we were just better than them all across the park. Before the game, there were a couple of, fitness or injury doubts. And the main one was around Alisson and Thiago. Both had kind of missed training, I think it was reported. It was kind of one of these murky ones where there'd been some reports coming out that they'd missed training and that they were a doubt. But there was nothing really official announced from the club kind of saying that they were doubts for the game. But fortunately for us, Alisson did make the game and was able to start. But unfortunately, Thiago wasn't. But Alisson, very much throughout the game showed us how important and why he's such a vital cog in this Liverpool team since he joined from Roma a couple of seasons ago. And he was very much needed, and he kind of essentially kept us into the game. He kept us in the game at a very, very important time of the game. We'll touch on that a little later. But he continues to show game after game how important he is to the team and how important he is to this Jurgen Klopp team, and how important he is just to everything we do, the way we play, the way we play with a high line. You can only play with a high line when you have a goalkeeper like Alisson, who can come out and sweep, but also is very confident with his feet as well. So more praise on Alisson, but we'll talk a bit more about his impact in the second half a little later on. So the game started off fairly positively from a Liverpool perspective. We were really kind of pressing Arsenal high up the pitch, very similar to the way we pressed Chelsea deep up into their box in our last game, and it was very much the same in this game with Sadio Mane, Firmino, and Mo Salah really getting up onto the Arsenal back three. Arsenal obviously wanting to play out from the back, wanting to pass the ball around from the goal kicks. But Liverpool just absolutely suffocating them, giving them no opportunity to escape. And it looked like, we could have very easily scored a goal similar to the one we scored against Chelsea, where Mane blocked Kepa's kick. We were that close to the goalkeeper. They were playing with the ball in the 6-yard box, and they were definitely playing with fire. And a couple of times we were able to nick the ball. A couple of chances. Straight at Leno. Sadio Mane had a chance early in the game as well, which he swept the ball directly at Leno, either side of him, and it would have been a goal. But it was very much, it kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. We were going to press high up the pitch. We were going to cause Arsenal problems. We weren't going to let them play out from the back like they wanted to, which meant that they had to go long. And whenever they went long, trying to beat Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez in the air with Lacazette, Willian and Aubameyang was never going to happen, and we were able to win the ball back, recycle it, and put pressure on Arsenal back again very, very quickly. So as the game was going on, it very much seemed that way, and it very much Liverpool had much of the ball, and it seemed like just a matter of time before Liverpool were going to get a goal. But actually, it was the other way around. So as I talked about there, and I praised Liverpool for their pressing at the beginning of the game, Arsenal were able to work their way out of the press with a little bit of luck. The ball got a little bit of a deflection, but they were able to work the ball out of the press for the first time, really midway through the first half. And the ball got played out to Lacazette, who played the ball out very nicely to Maitland-Niles, who crossed the ball into the box. And Unfortunately for Liverpool, Andy Robertson got his feet into just a little bit of a tangle, and instead of the ball clearing away going up the pitch, it went back the other way. And Lacazette, who on the turn I think he did fairly well actually to on the turn just kind of flick the ball, kind of scuffed his shot a little bit, but that actually I think helped him. Because Alisson had kind of dived and Alisson was kind of scrambling. The ball just, unfortunately for us, bounced over him. And yeah, it was 1-0 to Arsenal. Very much a sucker punch for Liverpool, having dominated the first 20 or so minutes. And definitely after that goal, I felt like there might be the possibility of the Liverpool players being a bit deflated. And Arsenal kind of, they were sitting back anyway and not really pressing us high up. And now that they had a goal to defend and a lead to defend, that I thought they could sit back even deeper. But I think the big reason why that didn't happen was because the equaliser came so quickly. Fantastic bit of play from Naby Keita in the first place to trap a ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold, which was wrapped into him. And then the ball came out to Firmino, who played the ball around the corner to Mo Salah. And Mo Salah had the pace, strength, desire, just like everything to get past Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney is not a bad defender. He's not really a centre-back. Arteta doesn't really have any other options that can play there, but Mo Salah absolutely ruined him. Just absolutely had him on toast, and then he was able to get a strike in the way there on his left foot, which Bernd Leno should have done a lot better with, but just kind of parried the ball and it just fell to Mane there, who had an open goal and he could just tap it in. So another goal from him this season as well. He started off this season on red hot form, exactly like he ended last season and like he played most of last season as well. So Sadio Mane again looking like he's going to have another stellar season for Liverpool. And no sooner was it 1-1, it then became 2-1. A great bit of play again from Mo Salah and Bobby Firmino out on the right-hand side with the ball coming back to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold whipping a cross in to the far post. I've been a little bit critical of Trent over the past couple of episodes because I think he's just, for me, he seemed a little bit off it. I think that was due to his kind of lack of pre-season, really. I think Klopp gave him a bit of a rest. He didn't go out onto the training camp either, but in this game he very much looked like he was getting back to his best, and he whipped in a fabulous ball to the far post. All of the defenders, Bellerin and Holding, got drawn into Sadio Mane, which left a load of space at the far post for Andy Robertson. He did really well to control the ball and just nick the ball past Bernd Leno. It was a great little piece of control from Andy Robertson, and then a great bit of desire and hard work to just flick the ball past Bernd Leno and make it 2-1. It was a fabulous goal, fabulous bit of play, and we did really, really well after going 1-0 behind to go ahead so quickly and then going into half-time 2-1 up. I was very much thinking at half-time what would happen in the second half, whether Arsenal would come out and press us a bit higher or whether they would kind of sit back and continue with their game plan. And they kind of did a mixture of the both, really. They pushed a little bit further up the field, but they were very much still looking to try and hit us on the counter-attack. And that's exactly what they did. Lacazette with a couple of chances. One, I think, was definitely offside. The other one was a great ball from Dani Ceballos through to Alexander Lacazette. He was one-on-one with Alisson. This time he tried to go around Alisson, but didn't just knock the ball far enough. And it was a fantastic save from Alisson. And just showing again, as I talked at the top of this episode, about how important he is to the team. And, in those crucial moments when we need him to save, a goal there for Arsenal would have been huge for them. They would have been 2-2 with about 15 minutes to go, and they would have had something to really defend, and it would have been very, very tough for us to break them down. And so it was a fantastic save from Alisson, which kind of kept us ahead in the game and really kind of dispelled any chances Arsenal had of getting them back into the team. After that, very much both teams kind of made some changes as fatigue set in a little bit. And it was great to see Diego Jota come on and get his Premier League debut for Liverpool. Obviously, he came on against Lincoln the other day. Didn't really have too much time there to really make his impact on the game, but he very much made an impact on the game today. Obviously, having played in the Premier League, he knows the pace, he knows how to play against Premier League defenders, etc. So that was really good. So there's not that kind of Premier League bedding in period that you have for new signings. And he very much carried on from where Sadio Mane left off, pressing really well, picking up the ball on the left-hand side there, driving towards Rob Holding. Rob Holding might have thought he might have got a bit of a break when Sadio Mane came off, but that was very much not the case with Diego Jota, and it's fabulous play from him. His first chance was where he cut in on his right foot and the ball just went over the bar. Very similar to what James Maddison's goal was like yesterday for Leicester against Manchester City. But Diego Jota carried on persevering, and he did get his goal, his Premier League his first Premier League goal for Liverpool on his debut, and it was a great little. It was a cross into the box by Trent Alexander-Arnold. It was a clearance header by David Luiz, controlled really well by Diego Jota, and kind of just slashed with his right foot into the corner of the goal to make it 3-1 with just about 5 or so minutes to go, which pretty much saw the game out and knocked kind of Arsenal stuffing out. And yeah, very much in the second half, other than those Lacazette chances, we very much controlled the game. Arsenal were you know, they didn't really have much of the ball, and they didn't really have any chances when they did. We didn't really have too many opportunities of Aubameyang running in behind our defenders. That was obviously a threat before the game, and something I was definitely worried about, particularly on the right-hand side, because Trent and Gomez haven't looked too convincing this season. So something I was really worried about was whether Aubameyang was going to get in behind and cause some problems, exactly like he did in the Community Shield final where he scored that great goal. But they didn't really do that. I think that was mainly down to the way Arsenal were playing and due to our pressing, but also due to fantastic play from Joe Gomez and Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. I want to touch on a player that I think who was absolutely fantastic, who may not get the ratings, didn't score a goal, didn't get an assist or anything like that, but who I thought had a really, really great game, and that was Naby Keita for me. He was fantastic in his passing, in his energy, in his pressing, and he just, for me, exemplified everything that we normally love and we praise Jordan Henderson for. And Naby Keita just, it was an epitome of professionalism and energy in that midfield. Wijnaldum again was also very, very good. I'm not saying Wijnaldum wasn't good, but I think Keita for me was really, really impressive. And there was so much promise when Naby Keita first came to the team, because he'd done so well at Salzburg before, and we haven't really had the chance to see the best of him in the past couple of seasons, mainly due to injury. He kind of gets a good run in the team, but then he gets injured. And finally, we're seeing some consistent performances and fantastic performances from Naby Keita in a Liverpool shirt. And we're now starting to see why we paid so much from him, why he's such a great player. And in a transfer window where we've obviously bolstered our midfield options with Thiago coming into the team, I still feel like there's a role for Naby Keita in that team, and that's why the shout out for Klopp for me in this episode is going to be very much about trying to keep Naby Keita in the team. It's going to be very tough to rotate the midfielders. They're all very, very good, but I think Naby Keita has been really, really impressive, or has really impressed me over the past couple of games, and I would like to see him continue to play in that role, not only because of the work he does defensively in terms of pressing and everything, but also in terms of what he brings attacking wise. He's the kind of player that picks the ball up and runs at the defenders. He doesn't pick the ball up and pass the ball off to someone else. He's not afraid to run directly at defenders. So 3 games in, I guess we kind of get a bit of a sense of kind of how we're looking. Obviously, given a very small pre-season, and as I talked about at the beginning, very much looking like champions. The Leeds performance was maybe a bit of an odd one, kind of just a first day type of thing, but the Chelsea performance, the Arsenal performance, games against 2 very, very good teams that will be up there or thereabouts in the top 4. Fantastic performances. Obviously, we're second in the league, unfortunately, not top, but yeah, we've already built out a 6-point gap to Manchester City as well, which is fantastic, and it looks like we're just going to be building from strength to strength. But that's it for this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And I'll catch you guys again on another episode.